Well, I'm Deacon Ed, Giard, and before, I was at the 5 o'clock yesterday, and as you know, with the parish linkage, both Deacon Michael and I got letters last week appointing us to both parishes, just as the priests are, and so we're going to be doing some alternating back and forth, preaching weekends anyway for a while. The non-preaching weekends, we're going to pretty much stay at the parishes we were in previously, but that's, again, for the time being. One of the things that it said in a letter from the Archbishop was that you're being assigned for a 5-year term, so the clock starts over, but it also said, but realizing that we are going through a period of restructuring, which to me translates as you could get a call anytime. So who knows? I'm here now. So I'm very happy to be here. I told the folks at the last Mass that the last time I preached at a Mass here at St. Margaret Mary was at my dad's funeral. My parents moved here back in the 80s, and they were very active, faithful members of this parish for quite a while until they both passed in the early 2000s. We have a family. Well, first of all, I'm going to do 3 things in this homily. Let's try to do this, and I'll try to do it briefly. First, introduce myself. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the Good Shepherd, because this is Good Shepherd Sunday, but we're also going to realize that the Scriptures are full of and rich with meaning, and Jesus is not only the Good Shepherd in today's Scriptures, but also is the Passover Lamb. And so we're going to look at that. And then the church asks us today to talk about vocations a little bit. And so I'm going to try to work all that in and keep it brief. So hold on to your seats. Here we go. Oh, the other thing I'm really not used to, this is the first parish I've ever been in where we have wings. And so if folks in the wings feel like I'm ignoring you, it's that I'm just not accustomed to having people on either side of me. I told folks yesterday, it almost feels like I'm being surrounded. You know, but I'll get away from the paranoia here. Okay, so as I told you, my name is Ed Giard. I'm from Manchester. My wife, Fran, and I are both from Manchester. We actually grew up at opposite ends of the same street, can you believe it? But we didn't meet until we were in our 20s on a retreat. So it's really amazing. I mean, I recognized her, she recognized me because we went to the same parish, St. Bridget's. But we were in different grades, and so we didn't really know each other personally. Born there, lived there my whole life, except for a very brief time in New Haven when I started my career teaching there. My wife's name is Frances, and this morning she's at St. Francis, but she will be over here sometimes. I don't know how often, we'll see. My friend and I have 5 grown children. The oldest he and his family are parishioners here. And then our second oldest she and her family are at St. Francis. So our 2 oldest live here in South Windsor. I went to East Catholic, third graduating class, so this June I'll be 67. And then I went on to Providence College. And after that, I went to UConn for a master's and Eastern Connecticut State for another master's. I did a 6-year in theology at Holy Apostles. One of the things you're going to realize very quickly is I'm a perpetual student. I love to learn. In addition to the diaconate program, my wife and I also did the Catholic Biblical School, and we finished that 3 years ago. Hard to believe now. And she also did the lay ministry program before that. I taught Catholic high school for 42 years. My first 2 years were at St. Mary's High School in New Haven, which is now a public middle school. And then I came back to East Catholic, kind of like Welcome Back Kotter, if anybody remembers that series. I came back, except I didn't have any sweat hawks, really. And I taught there for 40 years. And I retired 2 years ago this June. So it was a full career. All of our children graduated from East. And so I was going to ask, are there any former students of mine here? I think there probably are. Yeah, I see a few hands go up. Yeah, everywhere I go, they follow me. I deny everything. And I was also the director of religious education part-time at St. James Parish, which was our first parish. When we got married, we moved into St. James, and that's where we were. When I was ordained a deacon, I was assigned, back in those days, you were assigned to your own parish. And then once the term limits came in, I went to St. Bartholomew's in Manchester for 10 years, then St. Christopher in East Hartford 7 years ago, and then I was told I was staying for another 5-year term, and then 2 weeks later I got a call saying, no, we need you in South Windsor, so they sent me to St. Francis. And now we have the linkage, so just, it's been really a whirlwind. At the same time we were retiring, and both of us, and celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary, they reassigned me to a different parish. So it's just like, where am I? What's going on? So you notice if I make mistakes, I'm going to make mistakes here, until I learn the way things are done here. They're not exactly the same as they're done at St. Francis. Very active in the Knights of Columbus. I know I've already seen some of my brother Knights here this morning, and I'm very much pro Knights of Columbus. I had the honor, I'm a past Grand Knight in Manchester, and a member of this council now, Rosenberger Council. And at the last meeting, I was surprised with my honorary life membership card. I thought that was 30 years. It was actually 25, so I'm 25 years a Knight, so here it is. I'm also 4th degree Knight, and although I don't do the honor guard thing because I'm a deacon, I don't have time for that. So my kids were kind of, when they found out I was doing 4th degree, they thought, oh, Dad, this is great. You're going to get one of those plumed hats and the capes and a sword. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. And they were very disappointed. So what good is it then? I'm very involved, my wife and I are very involved in Divine Mercy Cenacle here at St. Margaret Mary's on Tuesday, every other Tuesday night. I would invite you to come and join us. It's a wonderful prayer experience. I love sports, team sports, and I'm going to alienate half the parish. I'm one of those Connecticut people who considers himself a New Englander, which means I root for the Boston teams. Sorry, New Yorkers, but I root for the Boston teams. Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, but when I first got into hockey, I was a Bruins fan, but then we got the Whalers, and it was our team, and I will always be a Whaler fan. I just think I can't go back to anybody else. I'm still a Whaler fan at heart. Okay, enough of that. Now,